But he ministered so well on Sunday when I met him. I told him he had to come out to my event. I wanted him to come out and share that fire and that flame that he had in him, that God gave him for turning his life around. So I ain't going to delay him. I'm going to let him introduce himself, because God is good, y'all. If you don't know, try him. He specializes in the impossible. He could take, remember the song said that I was blind, now I can see, I was lost, and now I'm found. That's what God do for you. Here you go, brother.
All right. How y'all doing, everybody, ladies and gentlemen? My name is GaryGKaliHynson. I also known as King Kali, 27 on my IG, and GKali on Facebook. First and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to my higher power for giving me another day of life and another day to make change. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Harriston, Minister Harriston, for the opportunity to share my story.
No problem, bro.
All right, so look, I'm going to go ahead and start this thing off from the beginning. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to get too in-depth about it, but it'll all come together as we move along. So early in my life, I suffered from real severe childhood trauma. All right, so I was adopted when I was a young kid. Well, I wouldn't call it adopted. I was defaulted into a situation where not my biological parents was taking care of me. All right, so through this, unfortunately, it was a Caucasian man that did take me in. And he was a good man, but his family was racist, and he was unaware of it. So me and my brother, both being Asian American men in a unfortunate situation, we had racism against us every day growing up. So this was a lot of trauma, and mentally. As we started going through that, I had some strong sexual trauma happen to me. I was around 9 years old, and I got molested. Well, not necessarily molested, but older women had forced me to do actions that I was against. So this childhood trauma had came early as well, and right behind that, my blood brother, which had spoke with me on Sunday, he ended up unfortunate situation, lost like all the children out here now, formed the alcoholism at an early age of 16, and he was hungry one night and broke into somebody's house, and unfortunately somebody lost their life. So around this time I'm 11 years old, and I had no family already, and once my brother had left, it was nothing left for me. And that's where a very bad disease was formed in my life, which was alcoholism. Around 11 years old, I started drinking my problems away. And I was chasing the alcohol because that's the only thing that took the pain away that I was suffering from. So there was my first love, and that's where the disease was formed. And 30 years of alcoholism I went through. And while I was doing all of this, I turned to the streets because I didn't have no family. So I was out there. And when I was out there, I couldn't find no other way to survive other than banging in the streets and selling drugs and manipulating people. And then I started manipulating my own family, and I started getting these real negative characteristics of myself. So all this trauma that I had experienced early in life, I held it all bottled up. And instead of me expressing it in a positive way and reaching out and maybe telling somebody and talking about the trauma that I had experienced, I kept it bottled up. And you know what I did? I formed alcoholism. I came back with violence. I came back with distrust and lying, all of these negative traits that I had formed, and it carried on to me all my life. But only through the grace of God, I was able to maintain success. And I still made it out of school, and I joined the United States Army. And there was the beginning of a new turn in my life, but still was very sick. The military established some values in my life that helped carry me through, but during this time, I still had a mentality of being lost, not trusting anybody, not trusting no woman, especially women. I had formed a real bad love and hate relationship with women from the sexual trauma. If I had expressed that early in life, maybe I wouldn't be here at 42 years old trying to figure this whole thing out called love. But this is just a small piece of the story because it all comes together in full circle. As my alcoholism progressed on, and they call it a progressive disease for a reason, all right? Because it will progressively kill you. So my drug addiction / alcoholism, because I was, messing around with prescription over-the-counter medications, and they were taking over my life. It's a pandemic in the world today. So as I was going through all of this struggle, my disease progressed even worse. And I eventually got to a place where it consumed my life again. All right, I was completely in a bad space. I was in negative energy. I was manipulating again. I was a narcissistic. I wouldn't do anything for a person if I couldn't get no benefit from behind it. I had lost all morals and values and standards of who I was and who I became. And my progressive disease suffered so severely to where it spiraled out of control, and I ended up losing almost everything that I love except for my career. So right there around that time is when I had a choice between life or death. My higher power came to me and gave me a spiritual divine intervention. And when I had the spiritual divine intervention, he gave me a choice between life and death, and I chose life. So soon after that, I found myself in recovery. And during recovery, I was able to heal my mind and open up my thought process and start to love again and start to care again. We'll start to want to love again, even though I haven't figured it out. But I just want to bring all this together as awareness about childhood trauma and things that people hold in. We need to discuss these situations with our children and get them to open up to us and talk to us, because if they don't, it will come out in violence. It will come out in alcoholism. It will come out in drug addiction. It will come out in lies and deceit. So we have to get our children to talk to us and open up in a more positive way. You know, sharing the fact that something has unfortunate happened to them and it's not their fault. There are people out here that will support them, like myself and other like-minded individuals and organizations that are here to support the people. All right, so this is where I feel as though that a lot of this gun violence and domestic violence stems from. We have passed these traits on to our people, and I have children of my own. I have passed a gene to them, because I know for a fact that alcoholism can be passed down through generations. So I do know that I have given a 50-50 toss-up chance for my children. If they take a drink, who knows, they become an alcoholic like me. So I'm raising awareness about this. We have to make sure that in a positive way that we can get our children to express things like dance and like sing and like art. Things that are really beautiful in life, like love and hug and church. All the great things that will bring you back to life. Because I'm going to tell you, when it's all fun and fun, it's fun and fun while it's fun and fun. But reality is real life. You know, real life, if you get caught in that fun for fun state, you will be lost and left behind, because that's not reality. Love and forgiveness and coming together as people in unity, regardless race, color, creed, or religion. You must be together as one, because we come from one source. And the only way we can defeat this evil is through love and forgiveness and banding together as one. We come together and we stand in unity here with Mr. Harriston and other like-minded individuals, giving back to less fortunate. All right, we're giving back to people that we want to show by being the example that we love one another. I met this man 2 days ago, and I love this man. The Lord has sent this man in my life for a reason, and now I've come around other like-minded individuals, and I network. I'm just raising awareness about all different types of topics: alcoholism, childhood trauma, different things that create this type of acts of violence, things that we need to raise awareness of our children, doing your history, your family history, find out what illnesses we might be passing along. Then we'll know how to start defeating the source. And we got to put the axe to the root. And it starts with our children. We have to start somewhere. So I would just say, through my life story, my life trauma and testimony, that God has re-given me a chance. You know, and through that, I'm going to take full advantage of it, and I'm going to dedicate my life to the community. All right? This is where I find my sobriety. This is where I find my heart. This is where I find my love at now. All right? Those that know me about a year and a half ago, you wouldn't have a conversation like this with me, because I was living a very gangster banging life. You know, I was out here still just doing things. I'm not trying to get too much into it, but things I had no business doing. And now here it is today. I'm loving people that I don't even know. I'm walking down the street and I want to get to know who you are. I want to know what your name is. So let me just tell you a couple more great things that the Lord has found me to do, because he's guiding my direction now.
It's okay, Mr.
I say to the good Lord, I take my hands off the wheel, Lord, because I can't drive this car anymore. I go left, I go right. So I'm going to take my hands off with pure faith and let you drive me and guide me the way. So he has guided me into my recovery and giving back to the youth and giving back to everybody. So I got a lot of up-and-coming events coming. I want to speak at everything that I can. I'm working in Southeast next week with Kitchen Cray and his wife and Chef Vito and them. And I'm going to speak into age groups from 5 to 12 about mental health and how we can express ourselves in a more positive way. All right? There's ways that we can do this, and we can come together to show our children that life is happy by doing things like walking and talking and sharing our stories and showing love. Stability Things like that. There's so many different things that children suffer from trauma of. They don't be with their parents a lot. That can cause trauma, separation anxiety. I can go on and on for days about different things that I can raise awareness of. But let's just get back to what it is, and that's the end in the gun violence, the killing of the women and the children. All right, it was a time there was a standard out here. All right, and I'm not trying to say a standard is okay with any type of killing, but it was a standard where women and children were subject to this type of violence. But now it's got to the point where the sickness is even more. They don't even care about women and children these days. All right, children. Come on, that 6-year-old child. I spoke at an End the Gun Violence event on Sunday with Queen Afi and Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags. And I was out there with a 9-year-old little girl named Reagan. She was shot in her chest and her mother was shot twice in the head. See, this stuff don't make the news. This is everyday life for us. This is stuff that we have to suffer and deal with. This little girl's grasping to her grandmother for life now. She can barely even understand what's taking place in her life. She's shell-shocked. This is the stuff that we need to start showing our heart to. Man, if anything is going to make you change, I guarantee you to see the pain and the suffering that this little 9-year-old girl is going to have to deal with because she was shot for something that she ain't even realize and do. Man, that should change you and make you want to make a person, make some type of change. Like, do something out here. Band together as one, man. Show each other that we love each other, unity. I don't have so much to say, but I just don't know which way and direction to go with it. I just want to say that I thank Mr. Harriston and I thank my higher power for getting the opportunity to share my words, to share my voice. This thing is going to grow more and more as I go. I'm going to get sharper and sharper with it. You know, I want to go as soon as I can to the next event. I'm leaving right from here, and I'm going right to New Jersey and Oak Street to the encampment site, and I'm going to go down there and bless some more homies with some more stuff that's been donated to me. Man, the Lord has blessed me with problems, and ain't nothing but a bunch of good ones. And I'm ready and I'm prepared to do His work and His will. So thank y'all for taking the time, for listening to me. I hope that raised a little bit of awareness about certain things, and definitely about doing your family history and your family research about what you could be carrying with you, because people don't even think like that. You know, you don't think that your genes are in your body and you're passing them to your children and their children's children. That means our generations to come, that we have to break the cycle somewhere. And we got to show our children that there's a difference in this world. And it's called love and forgiveness. And through my higher power, this is the walk and this is the work that I want to do now. Thank y'all very much. I have so much more to say. Maybe the next time we'll catch up, I can get a little more in depth. But thank you again. It's Mr. Harriston, man. Thank you so much, man.
All right, bro. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, man, for sharing your testimony. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming out, and we'll be together again.
Thank y'all.
All right, y'all, we're going to a break. After that, Steph.